We all know the story of Chanukah was that they searched and they found one little pach shemen that could only last for one day, and it lasted for 8 days, so we celebrate the miracle. And there are a lot of questions on this. The first question that everybody asks is, what was the big miracle they could have done? They could have used the tumadika oil, the tameh oil, they could have used, because the halacha is tumahutra b'tzibur. To do something for the tzibur, you're allowed to use tameh oil. That's a famous question. Another question that I have is just more of a point. It says, V'timu kol hashmanim. It really should have said they broke everything, they destroyed everything, they stole everything. It sounds like that the point was V'timu kol hashmanim. Why should they want to be matame the oil? It's like as if they went tame, and they would matame everything. Like that was the point of it. Really, the oil had a lot of value. They should have taken it away and taken it home. It was very expensive to have oil. It took a long time to make good olive oil. Why would they go ahead and just be matame it and leave it there? That's what it looks like. Or they should just smash it and break it. What's pshat v'timu kol hashmanim? Another question is that Moshe Rabbeinu, it says, he built everything. He was a master builder. When it came to building the menorah, Moshe, B'tzalel, it says, Niskasha Moshe, he didn't know what to do. What was so hard about building a menorah? It's not that difficult to do. He was able to build everything else. The Eibishter showed him the menorah in fire, and he still, it's like when you get those things that you order, and it has the from China, and it has all the different parts. You ever put those together? And I always end up with one missing screw somewhere, and I got to do the whole thing again. You follow. You make a flower, you make a thing, you make a cup. What was so hard that Moshe Rabbeinu, of all things, he couldn't build a menorah? Another kasha is that it says that there were 5 things that were nignaz, that were hidden. It means that Hashem didn't want the world to be able to have access to these things. So when the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, 5 things were nignaz. The Aron, Eish, Ruach, Kruvim, and Menorah. The Aron is the Aron. I don't know what Eish and Ruach is. I have to look it up. Probably means the Eish al Mizbeach Tukad. These were all miraculous things. The Kruvim we know, that they turned and they looked at, it was like it was magical. But what was pshat that the menorah was nignaz? What was the menorah? The menorah was l'chayra, it's just a candelabra. It's just something that makes light. So why would that be nignaz and be hidden just like the other things? The other 4 things are very miraculous things that had mamish miracles. The Aron didn't take any space inside. It was above nature. But why the menorah? Why was the menorah nignaz? So 4 questions that I have. Tomahutra b'tzibur. They could have used the tameh oil, so what was the big miracle? They didn't need to use one pach shemen of tahar. The second thing is, why v'timu kol hashmanim? It sounds like that's what they wanted to do. It sounds like that was their goal. It should have said they broke, they smashed, and memela was tameh. That was an outcome, but it sounds like that was a focus. The third kasha is that why couldn't Moshe Rabbeinu figure out how to make a menorah? And the 4th question is, why was the menorah nignaz? Why was it hidden from the world? What was the big deal about the menorah that Hashem didn't want the world to have it? So I came up with an idea, and I think this idea answers all the kashas. It's my own idea. It could be it's not true. We'll see what you have to say. The Svarim HaKadoshim say that the menorah had something very amazing. It was like miraculous. The tafkid of the menorah was that when the Kohen Gadol lit the menorah, spiritual light burst out of it, was nispashet around the whole world, and therefore every yid, wherever he was, and in any situation he was, any spiritual level, of kedusha, and holiness and purity went into his heart. It was an amazing thing. The Kohen Gadol's in the Beis HaMikdash, he lights it, and it wasn't just a physical light, it was a spiritual that went around the whole world. It searched out for every Jewish person, and all of a sudden he felt holiness and purity inserted into his heart. That's what the koyach of the menorah was. Based on this message from the Svarim HaKadoshim of the power of what the menorah is, we could answer all of our shilas. First of all, we could answer why Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't build it. If I tell you to build a cell phone, so you'll go to the store, you'll buy some metal, you'll take some metal, you'll bend it, you'll take buttons, you can build a cell phone. But if I tell you, okay, dial Israel and call Israel, that I don't know how to do. Same thing over here. Moshe Rabbeinu knew how to make a physical menorah. He knew how to make a candelabra. But he knew that this menorah has to have some kind of an engine, some kind of a nuclear power, that when you light it, it bursts forth of Kedusha and Tahara into every Jew's heart, wherever they are, in any matzav they are. He said, that I don't know how to do. So that's why he didn't know how to build a menorah. Hashem said, I have to throw it into the fire. It was a himmel tikazach. It was a holy thing that cannot be made by man. And now we can understand the new pshat. That the Yevanim, we could say pshat like this. The Yevanim understood that there was a menorah that burst forth Kedusha into every Jew. And they said, you know what? We got to get our hands on that menorah. Because what did the Yevanim want to do? They didn't want to kill us. That was the story of Purim. Over here, they wanted us to be alive, but to become tameh. So it's very hard to go ahead and influence every single Jew that you find, and tell them, Kisru lechem al keren asher, that you have no shaychus with the Eibishter, and go ahead and be merachik each Jew one at a time from Hashem is very hard. They said, you know what, I have a great idea. Let's attack the Beis HaMikdash to get that nuclear kind of power, called the menorah. We will light the menorah with tameh oil. And then what will happen? It'll be nispashit, nispaitz of tumah into every heart of every Jew wherever he is in the world. Ken Zayin. So now we understand, v'timu kol hashmanim, that was their point. They weren't trying to steal it, and they weren't trying to just smash it and break it. They were going after the oil to make it tameh, bedafka, because they were looking for the menorah. That's a weapon of mass destruction. If you can get your hands on the menorah that's going to be nispashet tumah, then we get the whole Klal Yisrael in one shot. We'll have a kohen gadol, we'll dress up some guy, he'll light it, and then all over magically. Now it sounds like a crazy thing, by the way. You can have a device that can shoot out tumah in the whole world, or kedusha in the whole world. We know that the Chavetz Chaim said when they came out with a tape recorder, he said, now it's to help us understand in Shemayim they could record everything. Then they came up with a video camera. That means to show us that in Shemayim everything could really be videoed. So Lamaisa, we in our generation need another boost. And the Eibishter gave us something to prove to us that yes, there could be a device that could shoot out to every person around the world, long distance, from the air, right? What's it called? Internet. We see that mamish in the last 20 years what developed. It wasn't around until then. A person can go ahead on Torah anytime and give out a shir, and it's nispashit kedusha into every Jew who has that little device. And the opposite as well. So that's the koyach of Ra. That they want to go ahead and use that because it's the best way to destroy Klal Yisrael through this amazing thing called the internet. And now we understand why Tumah Hutru B'tzibur. Avada Tumah Hutru B'tzibur. They could have used the tameh oil, but that was the whole fight over here. We B'dafka wanted to show them we're not going to use the tameh oil, even if it's mutter to use. But that was the whole vikuach, that we rescued the menorah, and now we want to use only kaddish and tahar, pure oil, so that way when we light it, it'll be pure oil, kedusha and tahar, that will go into every Jew wherever it is. So maybe that's the lesson that we have to learn from Chanukah also, that we also have to tap into these koiches to be able to use it only for good. And we know that the whole message was that they searched for oil, and they searched for oil, and there was no oil, but they found a pach echad shemen tahar. The Sfarim teach us that that's the same thing by us. A person can be in a matziv or dealing with someone who is in a matziv of chayshech, darkness, spiritual darkness. And we search in his brain, in his being, and we see tameh, kfira, averis, baltaiva, we see all of this tumah. We have to know and believe that in every person, ourselves, our children, whoever we see, there is a pach echad shemen tahar, and we have to search and search and search. It is there. There are chelik elakam yimal mamish. There's no such thing as that pach echad being extinguished. And Be'ezus Hashem will find it, we will ignite it, and then we see the great miracle. The miracle was that Hashem says that if you try, even though al pi teva, there's no way to take this pach echad until you can become a derhaibin person, like until they can create shem and tahar, until we can become an amazingly frum and good person. It could take a long time. The Eibishter says if you find that pach echad shemen, that chelik l'kam yimal, and you invest in it, you'll see, I'll stretch it out. I'll allow it to burn and to grow from that until the person can actually gain mitzvahs and masim tovim and Torah and kedusha. Because the Eibush is promising us through the message of Chanukah that nobody's going to be left behind. No Jew will be left behind. Everyone has that inside of them, the pach echad shemen. We have to believe it in ourselves. We have to believe it in our children and for every person in Klal Yisrael. And Be'ezus Hashem will tap into the pach shemen, and from there we'll see the nisim of Chanukah for all of our families and ourselves included, for the whole year. We won't have to wait just for Chanukah. We could do it anytime.